classism. Fashion is inseparable from class, so I think that it is interesting to study their links. I would like to quote David Hume, who is a Scottish philosopher from the 18th century. He said, "Beauty is no quality in things themselves. It exists merely in the mind which contemplates them. Things are not tasteful on their own, naturally. They are tasteful because we assign them meaning and we give them our own judgment. Some people's job is to evaluate the tastefulness of garments and accessories. Among others, we can cite fashion editors, stylists, and even designers. The luxury brands are geared to the upper classes, and the different retail companies that lower classes shop in imitate what is on the runway. This means that the taste of the upper classes is considered to be the best. So I would like now to talk about fashion that is used as a way for the upper classes to distance themselves from the lower classes. According to Pierre Bourdieu, who is a French sociologist, the upper classes need to legitimate their power. They establish their taste as the best taste and create the false sense that their taste is superior by nature. This reinforces their place at the top. They love certain artists supposedly naturally, but their taste is actually learned. The children from the upper classes are constantly exposed to the finer things in life, such as, for example, the art that is considered legitimate, certain music genres, certain brands. They can early on identify the codes from the different fashion houses, codes that are not usually known by the masses. Therefore, they unconsciously know how to dress the part and represent their status. According to Simmel, a German philosopher, the upper classes want to assert their superiority, and they do it also by adopting a certain way of dressing. They do it in order to differentiate themselves from the masses. But as soon as the lower classes adopt their way of dressing, they change in order to be superior. Fashion exists partly because of the division of classes. It exists in one hand to affirm one's belonging to a group, and on the other hand to exclude others from said group. Now we are going to explore how fashion can be used as a way of imitating the class we aspire to be in. The lower classes tend to imitate the upper classes because they aspire to have their wealth and status. They accept the taste of the upper classes to be inherently better. Parents will scold their children and ridicule them because they don't dress proper enough. Proper is to say like the upper classes. Fashion is the most superficial way of displaying status, and because of that, it is the most used way to fake your way into the upper classes, and that is the first thing people change when acquiring status. Because of social progress, lower classes, especially the middle class, can imitate more and more rapidly the upper classes. This creates a need for them to constantly change their fashion sense in order to stay ahead. Now we are going to see how fashion can be used as a way of rebelling against classism. We can see that some people use fashion to distance themselves from classism. This can be illustrated by the example of the punk youth of the 1970s, who were in majority white teenagers of suburban home or middle class and even upper class. They wanted to rebel against the conformism of their parents. Some people in the fashion industry are considered also anti-fashion, such as Reikawa Kubo with Comme des Garçons or Yohji Yamamoto with his eponymous brand. They don't subscribe to what the industry considers beautiful, and they want to distance themselves from this elitist attitude toward fashion. But as George Simmel wrote in his book, The Philosophy of Fashion, This type of behavior is not really different from the behavior of someone who totally conforms to the upper classes' vision of tasteful dressing. Because to do it, they have to consider what mainstream luxury brands consider to be beautiful, so they are in a way dependent on it. And this attitude that is anti-fashion, anti-classism, can be adopted by the upper classes and become the new fashion. This subject is much more complex than what I explained here, and there will be more videos on it to come. I hope this was informative and thank you for watching till the end. See you soon.